Lots of people out there think I'm going to become a trader because there's a lot of financial reward for very little effort. What would you say to those people?
I would say that they're just reading what they've read on the internet. It's not difficult, but it's going to stretch most people. A few moments ago we talked about those clusters of good luck and clusters of bad luck. The stock market tends to attract in an awful lot of professional people, lawyers and dentists, and they've got their house paid for maybe, and they're reasonably safe, and they've got £50,000 lying that they want to have a bit of a flutter with. What is the chances of you going to your dentist and leaving without paying? Pretty much zero, I would have thought, okay? So an accountant, the books will invariably balance. Very few bridges fall down, so the civil engineers rarely have a disaster on their hands. The pilots, I know there's no levers anymore, but they pull this little lever and the thing goes up, and they push it and the thing goes down. So they live in a fairly, an environment where whatever they do, a linear environment, and they now move from that fairly cozy little environment to something like the stock market, where when they're new, they're going to get this right 60% of the time, 40% of the time they're wrong, and they find it very, very difficult to deal with that. And getting your mind around this whole concept of thinking in probabilities, and as traders, we need two levels of belief. At the level of one trade, the market cannot be predicted. But at the level of 30 trades, you must firmly believe that whatever you're doing is going to make a heap of money. And that's quite unique to our business. That's quite unique to our business. I think that if anybody listening wants to read further upon that, then there's a book by the late Mark Douglas. It's called Trading in the Zone. And it's not an easy read, and it should be read half a dozen times. In fact, my trading partner recently has made a précis of the book, and I caught him reading it on an aeroplane the other day to try and get his mind around the whole concept of trading, thinking in probabilities. It's quite difficult, and it's been the most difficult thing that I've ever had to get my mind around, ever.
Lots of people that are going down this route where they think they want to get rich quick will then place their trades in perhaps more exciting things like oil or mining or gambling. Do you see this happen?
I think that you can make good money trading those markets. I think the one thing you have to be very careful about is over-leveraging yourself. So I think that you can trade those speculative markets with relatively low leverage in a very conservative fashion. But recently, many of the spread betting organizations have in fact reduced their leverage because of thoughts by the FCA. I think that those markets can be traded and traded in a conservative fashion. But if you leverage yourself up 10x, 20x, 30x, then you'll find that when you're right, it's great, and when you're wrong, it's sudden death.
Do you think that you're better off investing in, say, the more boring things like utilities to make longer term investments or returns, sorry?
I don't. The yields on utilities are very good, that's for sure, but the share prices themselves haven't moved that much. So I firmly believe that if income is important, the most important thing is the ability of the share and the company to grow that dividend. So a dividend of 5 or 6%, which is judged great against the bank rate at the moment of 0.5%, sounds wonderful. But if that company, in fact, cannot grow that dividend over the next 10 years, then that's a worry. I think the utilities will probably be able to grow the dividend. So I'm personally looking at shares that can both grow their share price and grow that dividend, and I like to see a company that's got a history of growing the dividend by greater than 10%.